So this is my last video on this channel in the UK. In just 3 weeks, I'm flying to Southeast Asia to start my new life in Thailand. And today I'm going to be recapping the videos in this series so far, updating you a little bit on my progress over the last couple of months and what's to come when I actually arrive in Bangkok. So this is it. This is my last video in this new series and also my last video in my flat or my apartment here in the UK. I'll be popping some clips up on the screen throughout the video so that you can see the progress that I've made. So if you haven't watched my videos in this series so far, or you've just stumbled across my channel today, then you might not know that about 5 months ago I made the big scary decision to relocate to Thailand, selling everything I own. I'm just taking 3 suitcases, so just 2 large checked suitcases and 1 small cabin suitcase with a small rucksack, and that's it. Everything else is being donated, sold, recycled or given away. So it's quite a big task. I highly recommend you go and check out the videos in this series if you haven't done already. And for those of you who have been following me on my journey or through this process, as I keep calling it, then today I'm going to be recapping how far I've come along so far with selling everything, what the rooms in my flat or my apartment are looking like and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm moving to Thailand, or relocating to Southeast Asia, on a DTV, the Destination Thailand visa. So it's a 5-year multiple entry visa. It's not a permanent visa, it's not a residency visa. So that's my gateway, for want of a better word, into Thailand. I'm going to be living in Bangkok. I already have an apartment sort of pre-reserved kind of in the Onut area, so more of a local residential neighbourhood, a bit further away from what you'd call the central part of Bangkok, or the very touristy busy central part of Sukhumvit. So it's about 5 stops away from Asok, which is known to be very, very busy, very, very loud and chaotic. So I'm very happy with the area that I've chosen. I might move to a different area, and I'll also be at some point living in a different apartment or a different studio a bit further down the line as well. But when I first arrive in Bangkok, I have a lovely small studio apartment. It's a brand new building. It's a low-rise building as well, which was really important to me, in a nice local, more residential sort of neighbourhood, not right in the middle of the hustle and bustle and all the, I mean, Bangkok is loud pretty much wherever you live, but it's not right in the centre of all of the madness. So in terms of work, I'm a qualified TEFL teacher, which stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. Again, I'm going to be making separate videos about my remote income, so my life as a digital nomad, if you want to call it that. So as an online TEFL teacher, let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in. I have briefly mentioned it in my previous videos already, but I haven't gone into too much detail. So if that's a topic that you're interested in, definitely let me know down below. So I've gone into a little bit of detail in previous videos on this series about my reasons for relocating to Thailand, my reasons for leaving the UK. I recommend you go and check those out. In terms of my personal life, it's been a bit of a rough time, to put it mildly, over the last couple of years, and I think I sort of realised that I need to grab life by the horns before it's too late, and that's just the really simplified version of it. I've gone into a little bit of detail about my personal life in previous videos, but yeah, that's about as much as I want to delve into my personal life anymore in this video, at least. So yeah, it was just time to put myself first and make the most of what life I have left, basically, before it was too late, is the long and short of it. So selling everything I own, clearing this 1-bedroom flat out by myself has been no easy feat. I think that's the right expression. It's been incredibly stressful. I do have, I'd say, probably the same concerns now as I had when I first decided to move to Southeast Asia or relocate to Thailand. I'd say they're still fairly the same. Do I have any additional concerns? I mean, now I'm reaching like crunch time, I think is a good way to describe it. I'm 3 weeks away now from getting on the plane, exactly today, 3 weeks. So of course the stress levels and the worries and my blood pressure is probably increasing slightly just as we get so close to moving out, handing the keys back on the flat. I don't know if you haven't watched the videos in this series already, I don't remember how much I mentioned about actual storing things, but I'm not going to be leaving anything in storage here in the UK. So I'm not renting out a container or a locker room, I'm not leaving anything with friends or family, so I am literally taking everything I own with me, just 3 suitcases and that's it. So getting rid of everything, the timings of advertising things, that fine line between still needing to live with certain essentials versus how quickly do I actually want to clear those things out versus how long do I have to get maximum return on those items, if that makes sense. The longer I leave them advertised, hopefully the more I can sell them for, versus how close am I getting to crunch time, to that final sort of fortnight, 2 weeks period, I would say, where I have to start thinking at this point it's just not worth worrying about getting an extra 10 or 20 pounds for something. To be honest, the priority just becomes getting rid of things. So I have followed through with the stages that I mentioned in my first couple of videos in this series. So I have gradually sold things, I'd pretty much say within the time frames that I was hoping. I'm now living in my living room, which I mentioned I'd be doing in my first few videos. I've emptied my bedroom completely, so I've sold the bed and I just have the mattress left now, which you'll see in the clips that I'll pop up on the screen. I'm just sleeping on the mattress on the floor, which really doesn't bother me. It's actually quite cool. It's kind of like glamping. For the last month or so, it's not something I'm precious about. I understand that not everybody would want to live like that, but for me it's a lot more reassuring to know that I'm getting rid of the bigger items and bigger furniture than worrying about sleeping on a mattress for a month. I mean, crikey, people live in a lot worse conditions. So yeah, I'm sleeping on the mattress in the corner. I've still got a nice view. Like I said, I've sold the bed, I've sold all of my other furniture. The living room is very empty now, so I did follow through with what I was hoping to do, which I mentioned in those first few videos, about gradually reducing down the rooms and condensing everything into 1 or 2 rooms versus 5 rooms. So kitchen, lounge, I mean it's open space anyway, bedroom, bathroom, and the little spare room that I've got now. The bedroom is basically empty apart from the suitcases that I'm taking with me, the spare room of doom, as I've been calling it recently, because I keep wandering around that room and just staring at everything and not really, I don't know, I think a lot of it is emotional blocks and emotional barriers to taking those final little steps just to get rid of those last little bits, which are almost harder than getting rid of the big pieces of furniture in a roundabout strange way. But yeah, I think I'm on track. I think I'm maybe a week behind, maybe haven't gotten rid of as much as I would have liked to at this point, but it is what it is. I'm just going to have to start really slashing those prices now on Facebook Marketplace. Obviously I still need a mattress to sleep on right up until the last minute. I've sold my electric hob, so I am just relying on an air fryer and a microwave now. The bathroom's basically empty, the bedroom's basically empty. There's a few bits left in the spare room and the cupboards are empty. I've cleared the fridge out, it's basically also empty, so I'm going to be advertising that this week. So I'd say I'm on target. I'd say I'm doing okay in terms of timings, but yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, there might be a couple of things that I'll have to give away for free. So in terms of my feelings around moving to Bangkok, moving to Thailand, relocating to Southeast Asia in general, my reasons are still the same. I still feel very passionate about Bangkok. My reasons for choosing Bangkok specifically, for choosing Thailand, they are still all the same. I'm not having any regrets in terms of actually moving to Thailand, but my concerns with regards to my online income, the weather, i.e. my skin, and also just the climate in general, pollution, air quality, etc. There are a number of things that I am, I think, still concerned about. I don't think there are any additional worries. I think they are pretty much the same concerns, just making sure I can pay my bills. If you haven't watched my videos already, I'm going to be leading a very frugal, very humble, minimalist, basic lifestyle, as local as I possibly can. So no Western food or global brands and big international chains. I'm just going to be eating local food. I'm in a small, local-ish, I'd say, apartment in a local area. Like I said, not interested in big fancy high-rise condos. Well, at least not at the moment. I may end up living in one in the future. No drinking, just focusing on my online career and building up my remote work. That's a real priority. Well, that's the main priority. I'm also, if you're not aware, doing a part-time distance learning degree with the Open University, which is all done online. It's not related to Thailand in any way. Well, ultimately the degree will be used, but that will be in 5 years' time. So yeah, also doing a part-time degree, my first ever degree at the age of 37, whilst also moving to another country and relocating to the other side of the world at the same time. So those are my two priorities. My main focus is my income and building up my online career, my remote work. Second priority is obviously getting my degree, which won't be for another 5 years. So it times perfectly with my DTV, which wasn't really planned, and it's worked out really, really well actually, that my DTV is 5 years and part-time, my degree will also be finished after the 5 years. So then I hope to use that degree for other purposes and apply for a different visa, but that's a very long time away yet. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on. It's not holiday. I'm not going to Thailand to just live out some big holiday. I'm fully aware of the challenges that I may face along the way. I don't think Thailand is perfect, but I do think it's pretty amazing. It's definitely a lot better in many, many ways to the UK, but of course it has its challenges, it has its ups and downs, it has its unpredictability. Obviously it's a different culture, different people, different way of life. I'm not too concerned about that. This isn't my first rodeo, as I've called it in previous videos. I've lived abroad before. I've spent almost half of my life in total actually living in various different countries over the years from a young age, some of them with my parents, or one of them with my parents and the others on my own. So it's not my first time packing up, so to speak, and leaving home. And I say that in air quotes because there isn't really anywhere that I class as home. I don't class the UK as my home. I'm not a massive fan of the UK. I'm not a lover of British culture, which I know might sound strange from a British person. I've talked about this in previous videos. So yeah, I don't really consider the UK my home. It's not somewhere I'm particularly going to miss, if I'm honest. And again, like I said, I know Thailand has its challenges. There will be an adjustment period when I first move there. I don't know how long that adjustment period will be. It might be a couple of days, a couple of weeks. It might take me several months to adjust, but I've been to Thailand before. I've been to Bangkok a number of times. I know it's not the same as living there, but you know, some people uproot their entire lives. They sell everything and they move to a country that they've never even visited before. They've not done any research into the culture. I find that a little bit mind-boggling that somebody would take that sort of risk. But so yeah, I visited Thailand a number of times. I've been to Bangkok a number of times. I was just there recently for my birthday back in September, which is around about the time where I made the decision properly to relocate. I understand the differences between the Western and Thai or Asian cultures in general. I love Thai food. I mean, who doesn't? And despite Bangkok being one of the most chaotic cities on earth, if not the most, I don't know. Very chaotic, very busy. I'm not a massive fan of big cities, I have to say, which I know sounds very like an odd thing to say, relocating to Bangkok. I'm not a country bumpkin, as they call it. I did grow up on a farm, but I don't like being isolated in the middle of nowhere out in the sticks. However, despite not being a massive fan of big cities, Bangkok just feels different, and I know that a lot of people feel this way when they visit Bangkok. Even though I prefer to have a quiet space that I can, you know, go back to, I think what Bangkok has to offer really outweighs the maybe the more negative sides of living in such a big chaotic city. I like to be able to retreat back to my own personal quiet space, but I also feel that Bangkok has an amazing amount to offer: convenience, availability, infrastructure. I've gone into all of this in previous videos. So yeah, despite not being a massive fan of huge cities, I think that's probably more of a UK thing. I've actually lived in big cities in other countries in the past, and I've not felt overwhelmed. Bangkok obviously can be very overwhelming, but I know that there will be challenges and hurdles along the way, possibly even ones that I haven't thought about. I am a typical Virgo. I have researched the bejesus out of this, to put it politely. I'm not somebody who takes risks lightly. I'm very meticulous, typical overanalyzer, overworrier, overthinker, which good sides to being a Virgo and sometimes can go against me. So yeah, I've done an enormous amount of research. I am aware that it could go wrong. I am aware that it's not some fantasy dream, and I said that in my last video. I won't ever be telling you to sell everything you own and just pack up and move to the other side of the world and it's all amazing and it's all perfect. I know a lot of content creators do put that image out there, particularly of Southeast Asia, but you've just got to do your own research. You've got to be realistic. You've got to have a good plan. You've got to have a sensible remote income plan, whether that's retirement, whether that's online work, whatever that may be. But yeah, I've done a lot of research. I've started to learn a little bit of Thai as well, which is really important to me. Every country that I've lived in, I've always learned the language fluently. I don't know whether I'll ever learn Thai fluently. I speak 4 languages, but I don't know at this stage in my life, particularly with Thai being quite a difficult language and also the alphabet being completely different to the languages that I already speak. I don't know whether I will learn Thai fluently. I'd love to, but I think as long as I can read enough to get by, the basics of politeness, which of course is really important, ordering food, just being able to get the gist of what's being said and being able to converse with locals and respect them and be understood. I think that's pretty much all you need. If I could learn Thai fluently further down the line, bear in mind how much I will have going on whilst I'm there working, studying, etc. If I can learn Thai fluently further down the line, within a couple of years, that would be amazing. But I'm going to try and not put too much pressure on myself. If I can learn enough to be polite and get by and order food and, you know, respect local people and engage in small conversations with them enough to just get the gist of what's going on so that I'm not completely lost, then I'll be more than happy with that. So I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, in 3 weeks' time, I'm traveling up to Heathrow. In fact, exactly 3 weeks today, I'm traveling up to Heathrow. I'm staying next to the airport overnight, and then on the 17th, the next morning, I'll be getting on that plane. I don't actually arrive in Bangkok until the 18th, so it's almost like a bit of a 3-day extravaganza just to get there. And then of course recovering from jet lag, adjusting to the new climate, recovering from the time difference, new time zone, new weather, new neighbourhood, new environment, new home, new bed even. So yeah, there is going to be an adjustment phase, an adaptation period, as I keep calling it. Like I said, I don't know how long that's going to be. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you feel like I've missed anything out, or there's anything that you're curious about, or there's anything else that you'd like to know, then let me know down in the comments section. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Hopefully you found this video enjoyable, you found it interesting. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and also hit that notification bell to keep up to date with future videos. So as I said, this is my last video in the UK in this series. I'm going to be starting a new series once I move to Bangkok. I think I want to make separate series so that they're not so big and overwhelming. I think, yeah, this is a good time to wrap this series up. And then when I actually arrive in Bangkok and I've adjusted and settled in, then I'll start to make new content, which will be very, very different. A little bit scary. Actually, it's quite scary if I'm honest. I'm excited, but I am quite nervous. But that also includes a lot of emotional things going on in there as well due to my personal life. In terms of adjusting to Thailand, I'm not so worried about that. I think there's a lot of emotional stuff going on that obviously I'm going to take my time to work through. In Thailand, you take yourself with you. When you move to another country or even to another area within the same country, you take yourself with you. You don't leave your problems behind, and I'm fully aware of that. So yeah, I'm just going to be restoring my nervous system and just taking it day by day and just learning to put myself first, which is long overdue. So yeah, make sure to hit that notification bell to stay updated on the new series that I make, to follow on my journey. If you were already subscribed before I started this series, then my content has changed directions slightly, and I'm really grateful to those of you who are still subscribed, and of course those of you who have subscribed since I started this new series, also really grateful to you as well. Really helps me if you click that like button, subscribe button, the bell, commenting. It all helps with the algorithm as a small content creator. It really does mean a lot to me. I've also got 2 links for buy me a coffee websites in the description, and also on my homepage as well if you ever fancied giving my channel that little bit extra support. It is just me and a tripod and my smartphone, and that's it. I'm working on my filming quality and on my camera nerves. So yeah, I'm grateful to each and every one of you. So yeah, in the meantime, as always, take care and stay safe, and I'll see you in Bangkok.